Welcome to Mosaic Minds. My name's Nick, and this is Crystal. And today we are one host shy. He's at a fishing tournament trying to win us 30 grand. So let's hope that goes well for him. Today we're going to talk about AI and what all that means, but not just AI like ChatGPT, but I think that Crystal did some research on some other things, correct?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Welcome to Mosaic Minds, the podcast where every episode is a colorful blend of perspectives, ideas, and conversations. Each week, our diverse team of hosts brings their unique backgrounds, experiences, and interests to the table. Mosaic Minds is your invitation to join the conversation to see the world through a kaleidoscope of viewpoints. So grab a seat, tune in, and let the mosaic unfold before you.
Okay, so lots of things come to mind when we think about AI. You know, we think about there was the movie years ago with Haley Joel Osment and Tom Hanks. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like not iRobot. That was something different, wasn't it?
Yeah, iRobot was the one with Will Smith.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, but lots of people think of different things. And
Space Odyssey 2000.
Is that the one where it's like, no?
Where the robot, like, Hank, like, ended up having, like, trying to go after humanity.
Who's in that?
I don't remember. It's an old one.
Is that the one where, like, the AI person is, like, talking to the guy? And I forget what his name was, but she's like, no, John. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
But I think now, like, when people think of AI, they think of, like ChatGPT and that kind of thing, to where, you can have it look up, different search results or write you a paper or something like that. So what's the first thing that you want to talk about, Crystal?
Well, I think a lot of people have a lot of fear with AI right now, especially because there's people like Elon Musk and other big names like telling people that AI can be the downfall of humanity and all this stuff. But I think we're afraid for the wrong reasons. Like, people are always talking about how they're afraid of, like, the robots, like, taking over and killing everybody, and we piss off Alexa and it comes after us one day, and like, we'll make jokes about it, but I think a lot of people are actually afraid of that, and I think we're really afraid of the wrong thing.
Well, the scary thing is that every time somebody puts something in there and searches for something, they are teaching it, right? So it just continues to get smarter and smarter the more curious that we get and the more things that we search for, right?
Well, that's what intelligence is all about. It's all about improving what we have. And we have to. If the only way we wouldn't improve our technology is if we were to have an ice age or something to, like, wipe out our technology or people. And the only option we have is to improve it. We just have to make sure that we do it in the right way. I think a big part of it is we have to maintain these systems, but one of these days we're going to build something smarter than us that's going to be able to improve itself. And I think that's where ChatGPT is kind of giving you a glimpse of that, where it's always learning. And I think that's where we need to be careful once we can build an AI system that is smarter than us, that can improve itself.
Well, so my daughter brought up a good point. She said that basically what AI is it's an algorithm. So at least at this point, there's no way for an algorithm to learn from itself. So that will be whenever it becomes, when it becomes a problem, is whenever it starts to be able to learn from itself and has some kind of, like, synthetic emotions and that kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. It won't have emotions. We'll have to program our own values into it because, like, I was listening to a lot of TED Talks on AI, and one point that they all made was that we have to make sure that we are aligning our values with these AI systems, because if they have their own, if they start being able to do things for themselves, if their goals aren't aligned with ours, that's where the downfall of humanity starts.
It seems like it always seemed like it was just so far away into the future. And now it's like it's something that is actually conceivable, like with the different things that are coming up. I know that I've used ChatGPT a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it is close, but at the same time, a lot of like AI researchers and stuff will say that worrying about like AI taking over is like worrying about overpopulation on Mars because it is so far away. But then there's other researchers who are saying that in 100 years, 90% of our workforce will be unemployed because the top 90% will just be unnecessary.
Right. So that's a different kind of taking over. Just like when we think of terrorism, we think of like nuclear missiles and that kind of thing. We don't think about like the power grid coming down, or taking down all the internet and everything that would cause such craziness.
Right.
All right. Well, you were talking about because I hadn't heard of this. You were talking about some kind of Google AI thing or something like that. So I figured I'll bring that up.
Yeah, Google Gemini.
Give me an example of something that I should check out.
What I like to do with Google Gemini is to find travel stuff. So you can say like, hey, find me a hotel in Hawaii on July 2nd with a restaurant nearby. And you can be more specific. You can put price ranges in there. I did that when I was looking up some stuff. Oh. Well, that's fun. It's unsuccessful.
Oh, that's okay. Well, let's try something. What was the one that you showed me earlier?
Okay, find me a hotel in Las Vegas on July 9th for under $200 with bars nearby.
Okay. So that brought us up a list of stuff.
That's the old stuff from Hawaii that it was suggesting to you.
Oh, it was still thinking?
Yeah, I was still thinking.
Google's slow. All right, yeah.
So there you go.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty specific.
Yeah, and it gives you like a rundown of the hotel, and then how many stars it has on Google, and then the price for that specific night, and then there should be a list of like bars and stuff that are near some of the hotels. So
let's try. What is the best strip club in Indianapolis?
Oh my God.
I just want to see what Google Gemini's opinion is. I can't tell you definitely which is the best, in quotes, there strip club in Indianapolis, as preferences can vary. So it just gives a...
Yeah, so it gives us the...
I'd say I mean, like, I'm not a big strip club person, but I would say that's, from what I've heard, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Right?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about the strip club scene.
Like, I have literally only been to one strip club in my life, and it was after hours because, like, a bartender that I worked with, her husband was a manager there. So, like, after we got off work, we went there, and we just had some drinks. And yeah, I mean, there was a few like topless chicks walking around, but I mean, we didn't see any dancing or anything like that.
Oh.
I'm not opposed to going, but it's never been my thing. I would go with as a camaraderie thing with like a group of guys for like a bachelor party or something like that. But I can't imagine being one of those people that was like,
it's your
so
Friday night.
Bored, and I'm lonely, and you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna spray
Right.
on the cheap cologne and go to
Spend a bunch of money to watch women get naked. I can't touch.
Yeah. Hold the
Yeah.
hold the cookie and tell you can't bite it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been to a strip club once too, and that was in Florida when I was like 19 or 20 with a group of guys, and I remember the girls kept trying to get me to go on stage.
Why don't you tell us, since we're on this subject here, why don't you tell us about this male review that you went to?
So I went to a male review show with my sister in Lafayette, and there was 5 guys, and so it was like upstairs in this venue, and it had its own bar that was off to the side, and they would just like come out and they would have women who like paid money to go on stage, and they would bring them on stage and they would dance with them and fling them around stage for a while, and then go change outfits and put on a little show. And yeah, there's like 2 black guys, 2 Latin guys, and then a white guy they called Ragnarok.
Okay, so you were saying that there was Latino dancers.
Yes.
And there was black dancers and I
then
assume vanilla as well.
Oh, yes, one white guy who like walked around with an axe, and he had like his head all tatted up and stuff.
Why do you walk around with an axe?
Because he was doing the whole like Viking thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a thing for women? Are they attracted to Vikings?
I guess. I guess since he was the only white guy and he had a long white beard or a long beard, he just went for the Viking story.
He had a long white beard. There was
no, not white, long beard.
I was like, Jesus, how old are these dancers?
No, I think most of them were really young. Like the Latino guys looked like they were in their early 20s, and I felt really weird when they got too close to me. I was like, I'm 38. Stay with arm's length.
Are you not proud to be a cougar?
I'm not a cougar.
You wouldn't be a cougar?
No. I don't like younger guys.
It's just because you have a son.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see younger guys, they look all like young and scrawny, and I'm like,
So you like them old and fat?
not fat. Old and fit, maybe. But yeah, when they're closer to my daughter's age than mine, it's creepy.
All right. I'm not going to make any comments on that because, yeah. All right. So let's see. What's something else that we could look at here? I'm going to see, I'm ready to get the out of Indiana. So let's see what I can find here. Let's see. I kind of want to go to Florida. My friend Sarah lives there and I'd like to visit her. So let's see. She lives near St. Pete. Okay. So let's do, let's see.
Just search for houses in St. Pete.
Well, she has a place. I don't want to, I'll stay with her.
What are you looking for?
I'll stay with her. Okay. When would be the cheapest? And that's right. Yes. I have to read every word I type. When would be the cheapest time to go to fly to St. Petersburg? Soon. This might be my new favorite one if it actually gives me an acceptable answer.
Right? The cheapest time.
Assuming you mean St. Pete Clearwater, which I do. That's correct. Pi.
May and September to October.
The shoulder seasons? May and September through October. Well, that's not soon. So, May, I guess.
May is soon. But
I'm talking about
even with AI, this is just the beginning of it, right? I mean, we don't really know what kind of AI stuff they're doing.
Who's they? Let's be.
The military, I mean, our government in general, just tech companies, anybody. Like, we don't know. They're probably having a contest to see who can get the smartest system first. You know what I mean?
Like the space race.
Right, exactly. And
Well-
you know what? If AI is like the space race, that's not good because we need to go at it at a slower pace. It's not something that we need to race toward because it needs to be done right.
But if it is a race, we need to win, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Who's we?
We as in the United States.
I don't know. Do you trust? I mean,
No, I don't trust the United States, but
I was gonna say,
I
our
trust.
government or tech companies, because who do you trust with that?
Well, selfishly, since I live here, I don't want to be on the receiving end of a butt raping. You know what I mean? So, a proverbial AI butt raping.
Right.
So,
But when it comes to like military, I think it would be a good thing, right? Because people are afraid of autonomous weapons because of them getting in the wrong hands. But
as
at the
they
same
should be.
right. But at the same time, think about the good it can do with, all the lives we would save from all the people we wouldn't have to send overseas as soon as they graduate high school, to go handle these weapons. Instead, they could be handling them from miles away in a safe area.
But would it save more lives since there's no kind of humanity or emotion or anything in the AI? Like, couldn't it potentially take more lives than it could save? Like, since it's not making logical decisions.
Well, I mean, we'd still be controlling it. So as long as we're making logical decisions and we still have humanity, I think we'd be fine.
So are you considering like drones as AI? Are you?
I mean, no. I mean, I think they're the start of it, but they're heat seeking. And if we had AI, it would be more of like it would be more specific information on where it could go and how it could do it. And I think it could travel further and think about the inputs that we put into it instead of just heat seeking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what would you say? Like, what do you think are some of the more negative things? I mean, like, let's start with when it comes to education. We were talking about people using ChatGPT to write papers and that kind of thing. Like, do you think that's a legitimate concern?
I mean, I think plagiarism has always been a legitimate concern for teachers. Of course, it's going to get harder for them to get a handle on it with AI and with kids being able to use it. But at the same time, with education, I think AI has so many good things that could potentially do for us. For example, my son just took a test to be in high ability English. And then he had to, after taking this test, just to see if he could test to be in high ability, he had to take another test and then take another test for language classes and then take the state test. And if they had some type of AI program, they could answer maybe 5 or 10 questions, have all these placements, have their state test stuff, and be done with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know myself. I know that if Chat GPT were around when I was in school, I would have never written a paper. Although I guess they have ways to detect it, but I'm sure if they have ways to detect it, they also have different apps or programs that you can use to de-AI it. You know what I mean? Like kind of alter it so that it can't detect it with AI, I would assume. Have you heard of anything like that?
I haven't, but that would make sense. Maybe take it and run it through another program to make it sound less like AI and jumbled up a little bit. I don't really know. I would say just rewrite it a little bit. I mean, that's what I would have done.
I mean, I think that in the future, I think that once people realize that things like that are inevitable, that they will, instead of making it to where you can't use it for school, instead they'll teach you better ways to use it for school and for life. And so, like if this is going to be the next thing, like what are the best ways to give it commands to come out with the best results and that kind of thing. But I'm hoping that won't become a primary source of when it comes to things like medicine, you know what I mean, or things that actually have to do with life or death. But I'm
Well-
sure there will be more and more AI stuff pertaining to medicine and that sort of thing.
I think AI in medicine would be amazing because it would reduce human error. I mean, we could potentially find a cure for Alzheimer's and different types of cancer. And when they can't diagnose, I mean, some people are so hard to diagnose. I went to doctor after doctor after doctor before they realized I had fibromyalgia because it's so hard to diagnose. And, you know, there's other ailments that people get. You know, they have those like medical shows where people go to doctors for years and being told they're crazy. I mean, AI could make all that stuff not a problem anymore because it could just diagnose people.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you're right. I think for like research and theory, that would be great for medicine. But I'm more talking about like practice. You know, like when it comes to actually practicing medicine and surgeries and things like that, because I could see that trying to be used in you know, different aspects of surgery. And you know, to me, that's I don't care if humans do make error. I would rather have an actual human being cutting me open rather than a machine. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in the Navy, we had to get you basically have to get all your shots all over again. They don't care what you've had. You're getting everything plus more. Who knows what they put in me. But basically you take a step in this line and there's these machines with these big arms that come down and jab these shots into you. And then you take another step and you're standing like this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then there's these two big arms that come down and jab shots into you.
What?
And it was terrifying because I was afraid of them going too deep or missing, you know, getting the wrong spot or something like that. And so the thought of like a scalpel actually like cutting me open and doing surgery on me, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's like dystopian there. That's like, that's insane, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that was in 2005 too, so I can only imagine what they have now.
so like these arms they would literally come down and like put a shot in you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, then you take another step and then there's another one, and
That's insane.
that's how you get your injections in the Navy.
Well, wow. Well, I mean, I wonder if they should start doing shots like that in the health department.
Go a lot faster.
Yeah.
COVID
Hurry
shots.
the fuck up. No tender care when it comes to the children. Just like, if they cry, they just like, the arms just like move them out of the way.
They have little arms to hold them.
Well, I mean, we're kind of talking to people as if people already know. Well, I'm kind of talking to people as if people already know what this stuff is and what ChatGPT and AI and all that is. But I kind of wanted to show some examples of, because I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff. I mean, whenever I show someone this for the first time, like even when I showed Jason, you know, he's like, dude, that is wild.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So this, I mean, it's pretty cool. Even though I use it a lot, like it's still, to me, like I think it's badass. But like, so let's say like, even for something like this, let's say that write me a script. Say, write me a script for a cat food commercial. That has a really ugly cat
Poor cat.
in it and an abusive owner.
Sounds like a terrible commercial.
Look at this though.
We have a script.
Is this not crazy? I mean, like that. It just
So
okay. Now I'm like super curious, so I kind of want to read it. Do you want to be I'll be the narrator.
Okay.
Wait, no, because the other's a man. You be the narrator.
Okay. Meet Whiskers, the cat who's had a rough start in life, neglected and mistreated by his owner. He's hungry and for love and nourishment.
We just have to read that.
Oh, the man swats at Whiskers, causing the cat to cover and retreat.
Get out of here, you ugly mutt. What, isn't it a cat?
Yeah, I don't know why it's calling him a mutt. Scroll down, I can't see.
Okay.
Whiskers scampers away looking forlorn, but every pet deserves a chance at happiness. That's where Purry's Delight comes in. Let's see. Purry's Delight, made with real chicken and fish, packed with essential nutrients to keep your feline friend healthy and happy. Whiskers tentatively takes a bite of cat food, his eyes widening in delight. He starts eating eagerly. With Purry's Delight, every meal tastes of joy for your beloved pet. Why settle for anything less?
Yeah, so it's crazy that you can just, you know what I mean? You can just put in ask it for a script or whatever. I've used it for lots of emails and text messages and things like that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I've used it once or twice for emails, like at work. But I think writers are really going to be the first ones to be out of a job. I mean,
or either that or they'll have to step up their game, or kind of like I was saying before, they will learn ways to use that kind of thing to their benefit. You know, like
they might just start getting paid less.
Maybe.
Because I know I was a writer for a long time before this, and like they already started cutting our pay because they were just hiring really bad writers for like lower pay after a while. And I can only imagine that they would just pay people even half because they could use this stuff, you know.
I always forget that you wrote copy.
Yeah, I was a copywriter for a long time. I did a lot of SEO work and symptoms, like medical symptoms.
Medical symptoms?
Yeah, I want to see what happens.
What? If I have a swollen earlobe. A swollen earlobe.
Lots of reasons why you could have swollen earlobes.
A swollen earlobe could be caused by various factors ranging from minor issues to more serious conditions. Here are a few possible explanations. This is like WebMD on crack. This is like
Kind of an easier way to Google things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is gonna freak some people out.
Yeah, because everyone's gonna have cancer with ChatGPT too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that part will be any better quite yet. But, eventually, like we said, if they can use it for diagnostic purposes and stuff, I mean, that could eventually trickle down to the common person being able to just put their symptoms in some kind of program and being told what they have. And maybe they know if they have to go to a doctor or specialist or just sleep it off.
Sounds like something they would use for people that were less fortunate, like people on Medicaid.
Yeah,
or something.
I mean that'd be great for everybody. I don't have Medicaid, but I'd rather not go to the doctor if I don't have to.
I hate going to the doctor. Yeah, I agree. I hate going to the doctor. All right, let's have some fun with it. So let's have it right. Let's do a poem. Let's have it write a poem.
Okay, here, let me put it in the prompt this time.
Okay, go for it. It's kind of like Mad Libs. Remember that? It has that feel. A poem about a ghost that is in love with a werewolf that can't perform?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see with that.
All right, I want to read it.
Okay.
In the moon's soft glow where shadows dance, a ghostly figure roams, lost in love's trance. This doesn't really have the beat to it.
Because you're not reading it right.
Okay, fine. I'll do it as a rap. How about that?
Sure.
In the moon's soft glow where shadows dance, a ghostly figure roams lost in love's trance. Whispers echo through the night's embrace, a haunting melody, a spectral grace. Through misty veil the ghost does glide, looking for a love that can't be denied. In the heart of the forest, where secrets dwell, she finds her beloved under the spell. But alas, her love, a werewolf bold, with fur of silver and eyes of gold. Through fierce and wild, in the light of the moon, his passion wanes, his spirit swoon. For cursed is he by a fate unkind, a soul divided, a troubled mind. Though his heart beats fierce with desire, his lupine form a barrier dire. His lupine. Yet still the ghost holds him dear, whispering love into his ear. She cradles his soul with tender care, knowing their love is beyond compare. Together they roam in the dead of the night, in a world where darkness meets light. For in their hearts love will endure, a ghost and a werewolf forevermore.
I
Oh man,
think I should just write a poem book with ChatGPT.
dude! Like I could sit here for hours and do this. Okay, hold on. Now I want to do one. I'm gonna try something else.
So we've seen what it can do. We've seen what jobs it can take.
We have.
Are you worried
Crystal?
it's going to take your job?
No,
No.
nobody can do my job.
Yeah, I think if my job was automated, it would be after a lot of other jobs because it's really my job to do like a bunch of automated things. You know, it's kind of hard to explain, but
With my job, I get to play whipping boy to people that get pissed off sometimes, and you know it's really hard to cuss out a machine.
yeah, same.
So I think that people would. I know I get really irritated when I have to email for support. I can do chat, but email, like if I can't call or if I at very least can't chat, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So if I don't even know for sure if I'm the AI chat or like the bots or whatever for support, those drive me nuts.
Yeah, I don't like them either. I'd rather just talk to a person. Mm-hmm. So after all this, what is your biggest fear about AI?
When it comes to technology, I'm more of an optimist, so like I really don't have much fear of it.
That's good.
I would still, I guess, I wouldn't say it's a fear, but like I guess my only concern, which probably wouldn't happen in my lifetime, would be I really wouldn't want somebody performing any kind of like life-threatening whatever on
Like
me,
surgery,
or anything like that, or even like dental stuff. Like that's freaky.
A robot doing dental work on you?
Can you imagine?
Yeah. No.
Like all of a sudden there's a glitch or it gets hacked or something. And it just clicks your teeth out.
I think robots will be more for menial work than anything, at least for a long time. Like they'll be digging ditches and stuff like that. But
like making burgers.
But the world needs ditch diggers. But where are all of our ditch diggers going to go?
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, and that was part of the argument. Not to get political, but that was part of the argument whenever they were wanting to increase minimum wage so much was they're going. And if you've noticed, a lot of restaurants now they have those boards. I think we talked about this already, but they have like those boards that you order on.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So it does make things easier. I'm sure there's like positive and negatives. If anybody has any other comments or ideas of what could be considered negative or positive to this, please just put those in the comments, or you can email us.
Or if you know any cool AI stuff that's going on, let us know.
Yeah. And if you are an AI and you want to be a guest on our show, also let us know.
We'd love to interview you.
Yeah. Interview you, program you.
Whatever.
Ooh, an AI massage.
That'd be great.
That'd be
I would do
freaking
that.
Me too.
Yeah, because you turn it up. Like, yeah.
Because I'm like anytime I've been to like Urban Air or any of those places where they give like the parents the massage chairs, dude, I'm all about that. Like, don't you want to jump? No. I'm gonna sit here in this chair that I just put a $20 bill in for an hour.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But hey, thanks for being with us again. Please like, subscribe, and if you're listening, please give us a 5-star review. And we will be back next Tuesday.
See you next
Hopefully
week.
with Jason.